Welcome to Study Time, a televised home learning program produced by Rwanda Education Board.
Hello, dear wonderful students. Welcome again to mathematics class for senior ones. And I'm very happy to also have this time to learn together with you. And as you know, my name is Calix Tegatela. I teach mathematics. And today's lesson, I'm going to be with the senior one students. So students, remember the unit that we are still tackling. That's unit number 4. And it talks about percentage discount, profit, and loss. And as you remember, again, as you can read from the screen, we are under that unit, percentage discount, profit, and loss. And today's lesson is about taxes. And I think we will know what is tax. I want, of course, by the end of this lesson, each one of you to be able to define what is a tax, to give the list of taxes, or types of taxes, and also to calculate tax. And as you can see, we are going to try to understand the meaning of tax. Read from the screen, we have the unit number 4, percentage. Let me use the pointer so that you can see what we are learning about. As you can see, it's percentage discount, profit, and loss. This is our lesson number 7 about tax. When you try to define tax, it's the money that the government collects. The money the government collects based on income, sales, and the other activities. It means if somebody maybe has invested some money and there is some money he got as interest, so the government has to collect some money from that person depending on how much that person has earned. As you look at the example we have, this man called Alex, he earned 300 million, but had to pay 54 million. So you see how this money is big, and that's why you need to understand how important it is to give the taxes on the things that we buy from markets, and even for the business people. So please, it's actually very important to give the taxes to the government, because if you look at this money, 300 million, and also the money this man called Alex has to give as tax to the government, it's actually a big amount of money that he has to pay as tax. So, and this money can be used in so many different things that the government has to do. And we need also to understand different types of taxes that we have. We have actually you can classify the taxes into 2 different categories. We have what we call direct taxes, and we have what we call indirect. We have direct. If we can say the types of taxes, we have one called the direct taxes, and we have the other type called indirect taxes. And of course, as you can see from the 2 different terms, the way it's named can bring you the picture of the meaning of what we call direct tax. When we say direct tax, that's the income tax and pay as you earn. When you earn money, some money, you need to pay. That's the income tax. This is the income tax. Just as some examples of them, if we would try to give some examples. The income tax and pay as you earn. Pay as you earn. This is, that's why we even call it direct taxes. The money, as you earn some money, there is the other amount of money that you have to pay as tax. And from this other one called indirect tax or taxes, we have some examples of them. One is called withholding tax or taxes. So this is the money deducted. It's the money deducted from a certain specific payment. It's deducted from specific payment. Deducted from specific payment. So we call it withholding tax. We have another one under this, what we call indirect. This, it's not actually like this one, as you pay as you earn. There is another one called excess tax. What about this one? It's charged. This one is charged. Is charged on what? This one is charged on specific goods. On specific goods. You have specific goods, and the money you do be charged from there, produced or consumed. Produced or consumed. Oops. Produced or consumed within the country. Within the country. Within the country. So when you try to understand this exercise, taxes, they're telling us it's charged on specific goods. When you read it from the screen, here we have it's charged on specific goods produced or consumed within the country, not outside the country, inside the country, within the country. And we have also another example under this called indirect taxes. We call it VAT, and in full words, we call it value added tax. We need also to understand what this means. And when you do look at the examples that I have prepared for you, we will be trying to calculate what is VAT, value added tax, and whatever. So we have so many different examples, but I have some few over here. So I don't want to go into details regarding this point of taxes because, and you remember we have the authority which is under this sort of collecting taxes in Rwanda. It's called Rwanda Revenue Authority. You can go on its website and you read more about the taxes. But I have tried to collect some information from there. When you look at what we call the tax rates, every tax has its own rate. It has on its rate. And in Rwanda, we have different types of tax rates in Rwanda. From this first one called the consumption taxes, when you read from the screen, we have the nature of tax. We actually call it the value-added tax. This is what you will hear people talking about it very often. And the way the government charges it, it's 18%. And remember, it's called the value-added tax. It means if I buy this calculator, or maybe if I have a company that produces the calculators, there is the money that I have spent for one calculator to be produced. And from this, if maybe at the beginning, if I have spent, like, for this calculator, initially, if I have spent, maybe for my calculator to go out from the company, maybe let's say it is, or you've spent 800 Rwanda francs on this one. And then you sell it. When you sell it, maybe they give you 1,500 Rwanda francs. I want you to understand what we call value-added tax. So you need to check the money that has been added on this, the added value. For this calculator to go out from the company, it has gone with the 800 Rwanda francs. And when you sell it, it is standing at 1,500. What is the difference? The difference is minus 800, that is 700 Rwanda francs. This is the money that is added from what you were supposed to, what you've invested on one calculator. And for VAT, when you calculate VAT, and in Rwanda, the government charges 18%. This is what we call the rate. It's the rate. It's rate of this. It's the rate of this VAT as a tax. So you will take the money that was added to the value of that carriage rate, and then you multiply it with the rate that you are supposed to pay on this VAT. You divide by 100, and you get the money that you have to pay for tax. This is just a simple example for you to understand what you call tax value added tax. And from there, when you look at the example, but before we go to the example, I want to also continue to take you through this. When you go to the next slide, there is also what you call reduce the tax rate. There are some products or the things done inside the country, and you find the government tries to reduce the taxes. For example, exports of goods, let's read together, exports of goods and services are zero rated. Certain goods and services are exported from the VAT. For instance, books and newspapers, educational materials and services, supply of water service, goods and services for health purpose, transport services, financial and insurance services, ICT equipment, lending or leasing interests in land or building for residential purposes, funeral services, energy supplies, and processed agricultural and livestock products. All these are the things that the government tries to reduce the money they want to charge it as the taxes, because they just want maybe the people to invest a lot in those services because they're very important to the lives of the country. And for those services, when they charge the taxes, they try to reduce a little bit, or even some are at the zero rate. But when you go to other consumption taxes, like for this, for example, of excise tax is imposed on the manufacturer or importation of certain products. For example, when you read over here, like soft drinks. Soft drinks, you find the tax rate varies between 5 and 39%. Bottled water, they charge 10% as rate for tax. And for cigarettes, you see cigarettes, 36%. They try to raise so that, I don't know, maybe some reasons to, how cigarettes is dangerous to the health of the people. They charge it a lot of money. When you compare its percentage rate for tax, and for example, maybe for soft drinks, a little bit from 5 to 39, depending on why. And also we have alcohol. It's between 60 and 70. That's the money you need to pay for any value added tax to the things you've taken to the people. And we have fuels. It is all premium fuels, and the gas, oil, and lubricants at 37%. A fixed transfer fee of 20% applies on transfer of property. A property tax is levied at fixed rate and 1,000 of the taxable value for years. You see, we have also the other called the corporate taxes. This one is for the companies. You find its rate, it's at 30% of the tax profits. And the tax rate for foreign companies, when for some foreign companies, they try also to reduce so that the investors may invest a lot in different projects and businesses in the country. And that last one, we have what we call capital gain taxation. We have main allowable deduction and tax credits, and we have other corporate taxes. When you also try to look at what you call individual taxes, there are also what you call individual taxes. When you look at the individual taxes, we have tax due from individual businesses and incomes from remunerations, like that money, as you can read it, 360,000 or less, from 0 to 30%. You see that one. If you have any business that is worthy at 360,000, you see the rate that you have to pay, it's at 0%, And if you have between 360,000 up to 1,200,000 Rwanda francs, you need to pay 20% as tax. And if we have more than 1,200,000, you need to pay 30%. You see, there are some what we call individual taxes you need. And actually, you remember we are all, every single day, inspired to open businesses. It's very important to know such information because at the end of the day, when you start a business, you need to know, how much do I have to pay for this? If my business is boosted from this amount to this amount, how much will I pay? So all these information are very important for the people who want to open businesses and even to learn more regarding this in the coming years of your education. So then now, students, allow me to take you through the examples. We have so many different examples. You can learn more different and get a lot of information regarding the taxes. It's a big subject. But of course, we do limit ourselves regarding on the level that we are. And if I do take you through the examples, we have what you call, we have example number 1. From this example number 1, if we read it together, a car worthy 900,000 Rwanda francs was subjected to the import duty, what you call custom duty, at a rate of 40% followed by a VAT. You remember what it means, value added tax of 18%. You calculate the total amount of tax charged. We are asked to calculate the total amount. You calculate the total amount of charged. So now, as you can see, we have a car, and it was subject to the import duty. And there was amount of money of 900, as we call it custom duty, as you can see it over there. And from here, if we do look at it, at the custom duty, I don't know, you need to calculate and see the custom duty at rate of 40%. You see? So if we calculate the custom duty, we will take the money of this car, that's 900,000, and you multiply the custom duty of 40%. We actually calculate it at 40%. You divide by 100, 100. If you work on this one goes, and this one goes over there. This is 36, and you add the zeros that you have, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have this Rwanda francs. You see, this is what we call the custom duty because they told us that a car worthy this amount of money and was subjected to the import duty, or we call it custom duty, at a rate of this amount. If you need to calculate the custom duty, it will be of 360,000 Rwanda francs. This is the custom duty. From this custom duty, we need to also look at what you call the new value of the car. If you look at the new value of the car, how do we get this? If you need to look at the new value of the car, we will take the money that was before, 900,000. We add this custom duty, 360,000 Rwanda francs, and we see what we get. What do we get? That's, you can use the calculator, you can use 300, that is 1,260,000. If I'm not mistaken, I guess I'm right. Rwanda francs. You can verify and figure out if you're right. That's 900,000 plus 360,000. You need to figure out. So you get, that's the money. 1,260,000 as the new value of the car. So from this new value of the car, you remember what I explained to you, what you call VAT, value added tax. You need to calculate this. Then how do you calculate it? You need to calculate it by first taking the new value of the car. You take away the money that was before, and then because we call it VAT, the value added tax. We need, first of all, as you can't get this amount of money, you need to have that amount, and you calculate, you take away this one, and of course, you will get this. If you take this, you will have now 360, because that's, oops. As the VAT. So now, after getting the new value of the car, this is the new value of the car, you need to calculate its VAT. You will take 1,260,000, go under flanks, you multiply 18 and you divide with the 100. This 0 goes with this one, and you remain with the 1. What do you remain with? This is 1, 2, 2, 6, and 2 zeros times 18. What do you get? It's better to use a calculator so that you may not commit any mistake. That's 2600 times 18. You get 200, you get this money. 226,800. So now, after getting this money, you need to get what we call the total cost of the car. The total cost of the car. Total cost of the car. How do we get the total cost of the car? You remember the new value that we had before. That was 1,260,000. 1,260,000. You add this money, 226,800. That's the total cost, the money that you have or you need to pay for your car. When you add, that's 1,260,000. You add the VAT, 226,800, and you get 1,486,800. 800. So this is the total cost of the car. And remember, we were asked to calculate the total amount of taxes. How do we calculate the total amount of taxes? The way we calculated the total, this one, calculate the total amount of taxes. The total amount of tax. How do we get it? You have to take this total cost of the car, which is 1,260,000. 1,480,000, 84,000, 1,486,800, and you take away the money that was for the car at the beginning. That is 900,000. Rwanda francs. If you do work on that, what do you get? You will get 1,486,800. Take away 900,000. You get total amount of tax 586,800 Rwanda francs. So this is the money or the total amount of tax that you have to pay. There is another way you can calculate that. You can take this money. There is another way you can work on this. You can take this money, which is, if you take this money, 460,000, and you add this one, 226, actually to add the taxes, you will get 800, you will get 0, 0, 8, this is 6, this is 8, this is 5. You see, we are getting the same value as this one. So there are two ways you can calculate this total amount of tax to take the first one, which is custom duty, and you add the VAT, and then you see they're giving the same value. This one and this one, they are the same. So students, now I can leave you with the other example. You can do it. You can do it as a task. Just do it as homework. You do it as homework, a homework. I want to use this second example as a homework because of time. I want to now you write it and we will collect it next time with our next lesson. And as you can read, a manufacturer produces a product at a cost of 20,000 Rwanda francs and sold it at 28,000 Rwanda francs to a wholesaler. You calculate the value of VAT that he paid to the tax authority. So you remember what you need to do. You need to check the value, the amount of money paid before, and you need to check the new value of that sell, that what you want to sell. And then the difference, that's where you need to calculate the VAT from. So students, I want you to do this question as just a homework, and we will collect it together next time. Just to copy it down before I do say bye to you. And I do thank you very much for your hard attention, that way you've been following. I guess you've seen all the things we need to go through. I thank you very much. See you then. Bye.